Circulatory system. In the circulatory system, several organs work together. Blood, nutrients, hormones, oxygen and other gases will travel from one cell to another cell in the circulatory system. Without this system, this body cannot combat the diseases. It cannot make the inner things alright. If there is no proper regulated circulatory system, this body will lose its homeostasis. Gradually death occurs. For proper flow of blood, Kriyayoga pranayama is required so as to remove the toxins and harmful ways that obstruct it. Circulatory system is also known as cardiovascular system. In this, heart, cardiovascular, lungs, pulmonary, arteries, veins, coronary and portal vessels, systemic, all work together. Pulmonary artery is a blood vessel that will carry oxygen-less blood from heart to lungs for purification. Veins and arteries. Veins are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-less blood towards heart. Arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-loaded blood away from heart. These arteries are of two types. They are one pulmonary and two systemic. Pulmonary artery is a blood vessel that carry oxygen-less blood from heart to lungs for purification. Systemic arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-loaded blood away from heart to the organs. The other subtle blood vessels of arteries are known as arterioles and capillaries. These will carry blood to the most subtle parts of the organs. The veins are of two types. They are number one, pulmonary and two, systemic. Pulmonary veins are a set of veins. Pulmonary veins are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-loaded, purified blood from lungs to heart. Systemic veins are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-less blood from the other parts of the body to the heart. The pulmonary and systemic veins both may be superficial. They can be felt with touch or they may be embedded deep within the body. Heart. Heart is in fact a muscle. It pumps that distribute blood throughout the body. It is like a pump that distributes blood throughout the body. It has four channels. The upper two are left and right arteria. The lower two are left and right ventricles. Blood vessels carry to and from these chambers to the required places. Oxygenated blood is carried from lungs to heart. That oxygenated blood is distributed throughout the body. This will invigorate the tissues with oxygen. After that, deoxygenated blood shall reach heart after the consumption of oxygen by the organs. The deoxygenated blood is taken to lungs for oxygenation. Then the oxygenated blood is taken back to heart for distribution to body parts. Right side. Inferior and superior vena cava are big veins. Deoxygenated blood reaches right atrium through these veins. From there, through tricuspid valve, blood reaches right ventricle. From here, this deoxygenated blood reaches lungs through pulmonary valve. There, carbon dioxide is removed and oxygen is added to the blood. Left side. The pulmonary vein empties oxygen-rich blood from the lungs into the left atrium. From here, the purified blood reaches left ventricle through the open mitral valve. Lastly, it is pumped through the aortic valve into the aorta. From aorta, the oxygenated blood is distributed to all parts of the body. When ventricles are full, mitral valve and tricuspid valve both will be closed. The blood will not be allowed back to atria through this process. When ventricles contract or squeeze, this process, that is the working of heart and lungs in this way to distribute blood, continues till death. Heartbeat. The alternately contract and squeeze process of arteria and ventricles one after another continues till death. The arteria and ventricles work together by alternately contracting, that is squeezing, and relaxing to pump blood through our heart. The heartbeat is triggered by electrical impulses that travel down a special pathway through our heart. The electrical system of our heart is the power source that makes this beating possible. By doing Bijakshara chanting in Anahata and Vishuddha chakras, the heart problems can be ameliorated. Blood pressure will be controlled. Coronary arteries. Oxygen is required for the heart to work. But the blood that is pumping through the heart does not supply oxygen to the heart muscle itself. Coronary arteries are the special blood vessels that are attached to the outside of the heart. They supply the heart with oxygen and nutrients needs. Three major arteries and a number of smaller vessels are designed to perform this function. Respiratory system. We breathe 12 to 20 times in a minute. our lungs will expand and contract. This leads to supply of oxygen to body and removes carbon dioxide. The process of keeping oxygen and removing carbon dioxide is known as gas exchange. In breathing process, lungs and other organs play important part. The breathing process starts at mouth. The breath we inhale shall pass through the nose or from mouth, and it travels down the back of throat and into windpipe or trachea. This trachea then divides into air passages called bronchial tubes. Lungs perform their best when these airways must open during inhalation and exhalation, and they must be free from inflammation or swelling and excess or abnormal amounts of mucus. When bronchial tubes pass through the lungs, bronchial tubes divide into smaller air passages called bronchioles. The bronchioles end in tiny balloon-like air sacs called alveoli. The body has over 300 million alveoli. The alveoli are surrounded by a mesh of tiny blood vessels called capillaries. Here oxygen from the inhaled air passes through the alveoli walls and into the blood. After absorbing oxygen, the blood leaves the lungs and is carried to heart. Our heart then pumps it through the body to provide oxygen to the cells of tissues and organs. After these cells consume the oxygen, carbon dioxide is produced and absorbed into the blood. Blood then carries the carbon dioxide back to lungs, where it is removed from the body during exhalation. Diaphragm. Diaphragm helps in breathing process. It is a big dome-shaped muscled structure. It is located beneath the lungs. When we breathe in or inhale, this diaphragm contracts down. Then vacuum occurs. Then the fresh air enters into lungs. During exhalation, it contracts up. Then it gets relaxed. It pushes the lungs. Then the lungs get emptied. The air goes out of lungs. In breathing process, the hairs in the nose cleans the dust. There are microscopic hairs known as cilia in air passages. The waste and dust will be swept away and will not allow them to go in. Cigarette smoke will spoil these cilia. Then they will not sweep. Then the disease of bronchitis occur. The moisture producing cells in trachea and bronchial tubes shall keep the air passages wet so as to prevent the dirt and dust to go in. Bacteria and viruses, allergy causing substances and other harmful substances will be obstructed. Now nervous system. Let us talk about nervous system. Nervous system is of four types. They are: number 1, cranial nerves; number 2, nerves in the spinal cord; number 3, nerves in the sensory organs; number 4, all of the nerves that connect these organs with the rest of the body. All these nervous systems together control the body. They also help the organs to connect or cooperate with each other for balancing the body. Brain and spinal cord both together is known as control center. This is known as central nervous system, CNS. This is akin to central processing unit in computer, CPU in computer. Just like CPU, all the information has to reach central nervous system, CNS. Here in CNS, that information is evaluated. The information from sensory organs will be monitored by peripheral nervous system, PNS. It will compare the conditions within and without the body. Then that information is sent to central nervous system, CNS. There the action to be taken is determined or decided. Then the efferent nerves in the peripheral nervous system, PNS, will send the signal from control center, that is central nervous system, CNS, to muscles, glands or organs. Then these muscles, glands or organs shall regulate the works as per the decision taken by CNS. Nervous tissues are of two types. They are number 1 neurons and number 2 neuroglia. Neurons means nerve cells. These neurons carry signals in electrochemical signal process. The neurons differ from other cells in the body in appearance and functioning. Neurons are long in appearance and almost round. They contain nucleus, mitochondria and cellular organelles. Axons and dendrites, extensions, will be more in neuron. They are specialized cells that carry information from body to brain and from brain to body. Nerve and neuron is having a very close relationship. Neurons or nerve cells are of three types. They are number 1 efferent, number 2 efferent and number 3 internal, number 3 interneurons. Efferent neurons. These are also called sensory neurons. These carry information from receptors to central nervous system, CNS. Efferent neurons. These are also called sensory neurons. Efferent neurons carry information from central nervous system, CNS, to receptors. The receptors may be glands or muscles. Interneurons. Interneurons are the network systems in central nervous system, CNS. They compare the information collected from efferent neurons. Then they will decide the work to be done through efferent neurons. Neuroglia is the another type of cell in nervous tissue system. Neuroglia are the supporting cells. Neuroglia are the supporting cells to nervous system. They are also called glial cells. Every neuron is surrounded by 6 to 60 neuroglia cells. They provide protection, nutrition and insulation to neurons. These glial cells will almost not have reproductive capacity of same cells. Brain in brief. Brain is of 3 pounds weight and covered with bones within. It is control center. It, along with the spinal cord, is known as central nervous system, CNS. It is consisting of approximately 100 billion neurons. Collection of information from the body, analysis and distribution all are done in the brain. CNS is the storehouse of mental consciousness, reservoir of memory and center of ideas and plans. Involuntary actions are ordered here. Control of breath, heartbeat, blood pressure and digestion. Brain is the main cause. Spinal cord in brief. This is long and thin organ. Spinal cord is a mass of bundled neurons. This carries information from first beat located near medulla oblongata, Agna negative chakra of vertebral cavity, Sushumna subtle nadi to the brain. The beginning of vertebral cavity is located at superior end of the brain. The information comes down up to lumbar region, that is Manipur chakra. There at lumbar region of the spinal cord, another bundle of nerves starts. It resembles the tail of horse and hence it is known as cauda equine. From there the information comes to sacrum, that is Svadhisthana chakra, and to coccyx, that is Muladhara chakra. White matter is the spinal cord, is the main conduit of nerve signals. White matter in the spinal cord is the main conduit of nerve signals. The grey matter of the spinal cord integrates reflexes to stimuli. Cranial nerves. There will be 12 sets of cranial nerves from the inferior side of the brain. Each and every nerve of these 12 sets of cranial nerves is of specific function and hence recognized as such. Example, olfactory, optic, etc. Special sense organ, muscles of the head, neck, shoulders, GI tract. The gastrointestinal tract is the soft tissue tube that begins at the mouth and ends with the anus and include all the organs in between. So GI tract for all these cranial nerves make direct connection. Special sense organ, muscles of the head, neck, shoulders, GI tract for all these cranial nerves make direct connection. GI tract means the gastrointestinal tract. It is a soft tissue tube that begins at the mouth and ends with the anus and include all the organs in between. Olfactory nerve will carry information from nose to the brain. Oculomotor trochlear and abducens will work together so that the brain makes movement of eyes and focus. Trigeminal nerves send a signal from the face. They take the signals from one part to another. They give energy for chewing. Facial nerves transport signals from one part to another so as to make the muscles to contract and expand according to the need. Taste information is taken to the brain. Vestibulocochlear nerve transports hearing and balance information from ear to brain. Glossopharyngeal nerve carries taste information from back of the tongue to the brain. It helps in swallowing. Vagus nerve is a very important nerve. It innervates many different areas. This wandering nerve percolates into all places. It carries information to all important places, brain, neck, and from neck to torso. This way it carries information to all organs, from organs to brain, from brain back to these organs. It brings motor signals from brain and helps the organ to act as per the situation. Accessory nerve controls the movements of neck and shoulders. Hypoglossal nerve helps the tongue to swallow and also in talking. Spinal nerves. There will be total 31 pairs of nerves on both sides of spinal cord. These are mixed nerves. These nerves carry sensory and motor information to spinal cord and specific regions of the body. These 31 pairs are split into 5 groups. They will be in the parts or places of regions as per the work. In neck place, that is Visuddha chakra, in the throat of the astral spinal cord, 8 pairs of cervical nerves are located. In dorsal place, that is Anahata chakra, in the astral spinal cord, there will be 12 pairs of thoracic nerves. In lumbar area, that is Manipur chakra, that is behind the navel in the spinal cord, there will be 5 pairs of lumbar nerves. In sacral area, Swadhisthana chakra, that is behind the phallus in the spinal cord, there will be 5 pairs of sacral nerves. In coccygeal area, that is Muladhara chakra, near anus in the spinal cord, there will be 1 pair of coccygeal nerves. Every nerve gets separated from the spinal cord. Meninges. Meninges is a 3-layered protection cover to central nervous system, CNS. They are dura mater, arachnoid matter and pia matter. Dura matter. This layer is a thick, strong and a top layer or superficial layer. This is a tough mother type layer. It is an irregular connective tissue. It will have several collagen fibers and blood vessels. It protects central nervous system, CNS, from external damage. It contains cerebrospinal fluid. It covers CNS. It transfers blood to nervous tissue. Arachnoid matter. It is known as spider-like mother. It is known as spider-like mother. It is thinner than dura mater and delicate. This layer is on the inner side of dura mater. There will be several very thin fibers in these arachnoid layers. It will communicate with pia mater via these fibers. There will be a subarachnoid matter in between arachnoid and pia matter. This is called tender mother. It is a very delicate tissue. It is located outside the brain and the spinal cord. This exists for the protection of central nervous system, CNS. This pia matter penetrates into the valleys of the sulci and fissures of the brain. This way it covers the whole of central nervous system, CNS. Cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. The whole of central nervous system empty space is filled with cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. CSF is produced from choroid plexus in the ventricles of brain. That cerebrospinal fluid is brought by plasma. Plasma is of yellow color to carry nutrients, hormones and proteins to the required places to separate the waste that are left in the blood by cells and to carry everything in circulatory system to produce immunoglobulins, that is antibodies for the protection of the body to make the blood clot, are the functions of this plasma. This plasma contains proteins, albumin and fibrinogen.